Ogres are like onions. They both have layers. Did you know that Shrek was the first ever movie nominated for Best Animated Feature? Although a legend in history, it isn't a perfect movie, and there is no such thing as a perfect movie. It's important to acknowledge the notion that perfection is an elusive quality in the realm of cinema. Even the most acclaimed films have their imperfections. Forrest Gump, The Truman Show, Megamind to name a few. Countless variables such as directing, acting, cinematography, score editing, effects, production design, writing, pacing, and characters all come into play and must align flawlessly to create a perfect movie. However, while achieving perfection in a standalone film may be near impossible, the criteria for a perfect sequel is far more attainable. Hi, my name is Noor Amira from the Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, Class 1D, and this is my informative speech on Shrek 2, where I will be peeling back the layers on what I believe make a perfect film sequel. The criteria is simple. It includes 1. Expanding the universe on the first film in meaningful ways. 2. Continue the story in a new compelling way. 3. Introduce new themes or expand on the themes in the original film. And 4. Leave an undeniable impact on the franchise as a whole. Other films that fit this criteria include Blade Runner 2049, The Empire Strikes Back, and Spider-Man 2. The formula is quite simple. In Spider-Man 2, we expand the superhero universe by introducing a new supervillain. Harry's revenge story is continued after the death of his father, the Green Goblin. 3. The double life of the teenager/superhero theme is explored and expanded. And 4. The events of the sequel left an impact on the franchise, continuing into the following installment. But we aren't here to talk about Spider-Man. We're here to talk about the Supreme Ogre Lord, Shrek. First, let's talk about the story. Shrek 2 features such a perfect expansion on the first movie, in which the story proceeds in such a natural way and answers so many questions that the first movie might have left us. So Fiona is a princess, right? What kingdom does she belong to? Who were her parents? Why did they leave her in that tower? The movie expands upon all these questions in a way that makes complete sense, having it all be a ploy by a manipulative fairy godmother in order to get her son a future bride, in exchange for the happily ever after she promised King Harold. Shrek 2 lets you rethink the events of the first film, with all the new revelations it gives you, but at the same time, it offers a completely satisfying standalone story, unburdened by a need to know what happened in the first film. This is a very satisfying standalone and follow-up story, complete with twists and turns and, dare I say it, layers. Next is the expanding universe. The movie sets the stage pretty well by echoing the same story in the first film opened with, but with new details and a mysterious new narrator instead of Shrek. The movie is wasting no time in expanding the Shrek universe and getting you intrigued to learn more about it. We see tons of new locations that feel completely different from the places we went to in the first film, but they feel organic, expanding more on the magical aspects of the fairy tale parody, including potions, spells, and how the society runs on these as a whole. New characters such as the fairy godmother is a compelling antagonist who's implied to be behind Fiona's curse in the first place, and plays a vital role in the universe as she capitalizes off of making people's dreams come true. Other new endearing characters include Puss in Boots, the King and Queen, Prince Charming, and Doris, voiced by Larry King. Rest in peace. Another thing the Shrek universe parodies is the Hollywood glam and the unique mix of common franchises with added fairy tale flair. The pop culture references are so seamlessly integrated into the world of this movie, such as Starbucks and Versace to name a few. Capitalism seems to be a huge hidden theme in this film. Lastly, I would like to also touch on the themes of the franchise. The most important reason Shrek 2 is such a perfect sequel is how it carries over the themes of the original and expands on them in a deeply satisfying way. The first Shrek movie is about a guy who was told time and time again that he is unworthy of love. He is unworthy of being loved, and society hates him for existing. But while he is seemingly content with his role as the person everyone hates, he doesn't need anyone. That all changes when he meets Donkey, someone who sees him for who he is, as a person. He opens up to Donkey about his frustration with how the world sees him, and then meets Fiona and finds out they have a lot in common. He's found someone he could potentially love him after years of assuming he's unworthy of love. So he defies society's expectation of him by confessing his love for Fiona and usurping a kingdom and by murdering his ruler, but let's not talk about that. He and Fiona get married and his story comes to a close. It's a happy ending for someone who never thought he'd get one. This is where Shrek 2 comes in. Shrek has learned to open up to Shrek has learned to open up to someone, but he's not ready to face society, and society is not ready to face him. Despite gaining someone's love and affection, he is still not accepted. He's not the son-in-law of the king. He's not the prince the kingdom wanted. He has finally gotten something he's wanted for so long, and yet society thinks he doesn't deserve it, and his insecurities make him believe that he doesn't deserve it. This is why Shrek 2 speaks to me and so many others. I think we've all been in a position where we second guess ourselves about whether or not we really deserve something. I know for a fact that I'm not the only person who's experienced this feeling, that sense of doubting yourself, even irrationally at times, because you let your insecurities control your life, and that is why we as a society connect so well with Shrek. In the first movie, he doesn't confess his feelings because he misunderstands a conversation between Fiona and Donkey, and he let his irrational fears get the better of him. Realizing only later how foolish that is, and after confessing his love to Fiona, even after seemingly gaining her love and affection back, he still thinks that he is not good enough. He's not the charming prince that this girl was promised all her life. He tries to drastically change himself in order to become the man he thinks she deserves. But he realizes that no matter what, he can't change who he is inside. Shrek 2 handles the idea of getting something you've always wanted, but ultimately believing you don't deserve it, in which Shrek exemplifies this kind of personal growth so many of us experience. We try to change ourselves to be better in certain roles, to be a better student, to be a better friend, a better communicator, a better partner. We want to improve, but in the end, it's so easy to lose track of who we are, to compromise our identity in order to conform to what society wants us to be. Sometimes we lose hope that it's not even worth it. We believe that no matter what, we're not good enough, but we are. You are good enough. Don't let society change anything about you. Be proud of who you are and what you've accomplished, because no matter who you are, no matter what anyone else says, no matter how much that little voice in the back of your head is telling you that you don't deserve it, it's not true. You too deserve to live happily ever after. Thank you.